Welcome to Business Unfiltered, where real entrepreneurs share their raw, unedited journey to success. So, this recurring podcast is presented by Gannon Small Business Development Center, or SBDC. And our main office is located in Gannon University in Erie, Pennsylvania, but we cover Erie, Mercer, Crawford, and Warren counties in Pennsylvania. My name is Mike Blaurock. I'm the Mercer County Outreach Business Consultant. And today we will be focusing on the child care industry in Western Pennsylvania. With me, I have two wonderful entrepreneurs who started a child care center and a preschool in 2024. And first, I'd like to introduce Catherine Zawacki, and she goes by Kat, who is the owner of Little Dragon Learning Center in Warren, Pennsylvania, and Erica Dorio, who's the owner of In Bloom Preschool LLC in Sharon, Pennsylvania. Now, this idea for podcasts was introduced to us at our January staff meeting, and you two came to mind first for me. I thought childcare would be a great industry to focus on, and you both are not competing with each other because one's in Warren and one's in Sharon, and so you're about 2.5 hours away from each other. Also, to contrast both businesses, Little Dragon Learning Center has capacity for 80 kids, and you can do 6-month to 15-year-olds, from what I understand, and you're considered a child care center. And In Bloom Preschool is a one-room preschool where learning, or the Little Dragon Learning Center, is a 7-room child care center. And Erica focuses on 3 to 5-year-olds. She is a preschool. Now, one of the things when we have our first step seminar that we emphasize with our clients is you need to have a passion for what you're going to be doing in a small business, because typically you're going to be putting 60 to 80 hours per weekend, and the pay isn't going to be probably a little bit more than minimum wage. So I'd like to start with Kat. Kat, what was your passion or your why for starting your business?
So I started this business completely out of necessity. I used to live in a big city with ample childcare, albeit very expensive. And I was a single mom and I didn't have much of a support network where I was living. So I moved back to my hometown in rural Pennsylvania. And it was really, really, really difficult to find childcare for an infant. I had a hard time finding daycare for him. And so within the first 12 months of him being in daycare or childcare, he was in 3 different facilities. And there was an opportunity for me to take over one of the facilities. And so I opened a childcare center. Thanks, Jacob. I opened a childcare center and rehired most of the old staff and bought the stuff from the previous owners. And I decided I can do this because I can make a safe place for my kid and for the rest of the kids in the community.
So what were you doing before you opened your childcare center?
I had a very nice government job at working cybersecurity.
Okay. Erica, so what was your passion, or why did you start your preschool?
For me, I mean, Kat, that was a great answer. I feel like I learned a lot from you there. That was a great answer. For me, it always stemmed from, like you mentioned, a place of passion, and just, I had taught and been a preschool teacher for a really long time, for over 10 years. And my first preschool job, I taught in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and I was there for 3.5 years, and I absolutely loved it. It was an amazing job, and I really, really learned so much. And on my last day, my director there, who is somebody that I really look up to and somebody that I respect and learned a lot from, she just pulled me aside and gave me a big hug and just said, Erica, early education needs teachers like you. Please don't leave the field. And that just stuck with me, and it meant a lot coming from her. And I felt like I had learned so much during that time that, then I went and taught at St. Mike's for about 7 years, and the majority of that being in preschool. And I never lost my passion for preschool. And when I really started kicking around the idea with my husband, it was just this place of wanting to provide high quality early education to preschool age children and, do it the way that I wanted, in a way that I knew would be best for the children.
Great. So I know I've worked with both of you for about a year now. I think both your journey started in 2023. So in the early stages, what challenges? We'll start with Erica. What challenges were you faced with?
In the early stage, I think it's just that feeling of where do I start? How do I make what's in my head onto paper into a reality? I think that that's a big challenge, and I was grateful for you, Mike, for that, and the SBDC for helping with that side of things. And that's obviously a challenge. And then I think early on, obviously funding is an issue, and figuring out funding and securing funding and finding materials, and when can this actually happen? I have a deadline in mind. What do I need to do to make that deadline happen? How am I going to find the time for this? So I would say those were the earliest challenges, were the planning and the funding, and those things were the hardest things first on.
How about you, Kat?
Yeah, I mean, Erica's same. She hit it right on the head. I mean, getting the whole process through the paperwork, and through, I mean, my financial application for a loan was 70 pages long, right? So seriously.
Wow.
I mean, there was no template, right? Like, I had to write all of that from scratch. So, yeah, some of it was a lot of pictures of things I wanted to buy with the money, but still, it was a 15-page business plan, and then, a 17-page application with 14 different attachments, and then all the screen, yada, yada, like going through the paperwork process to make it happen. And then, not for me specifically, not having a background or ever worked in this field, learning the ins and outs, and, who's in charge of compliance, where do I go for this answer? I've never worked in small business, so how do I start a small business? So that there was a lot of challenges, financially. That once I got through the paperwork, the finances were okay in the beginning. Not going to say they're okay now, but definitely getting through the paperwork and just learning the ropes.
So I know initially when both of you were starting out, we had meetings. I would meet early with Kat because she had a full-time job and she was a morning person along with me. So, we were up at 5:30 in the morning going through the financial performance. And then with Erica, very similar. She had a full-time job. Her husband was very involved with the planning process, and we'd meet, 4:30, 5 o'clock at the local Panera. Did you find the business plan development and the financials difficult to do? Anybody? Erica?
I think that Kat had touched on, starting a small business obviously wasn't something I'd ever done before. So I would say maybe not necessarily difficult, but challenging would be a good word for it. There were definitely new challenges and things that I wasn't used to doing before, and learning new things along the way. I would say that there was challenges, and definitely funding was a challenge.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Kat? Did you find the business plan development and financial performance or forma painful?
No, but I'm used to paperwork. I mean, I used to work for the government. So
Yeah. Well, that's good. I will
Um,
give you both credit. I mean, I helped you. I held your hand a little bit, but am I a daycare expert? No. And you both, in terms of the regulations and the government and all that type of stuff, you took that upon yourself, and you're successful in doing it because you launched your businesses. So we'll start with Kat with this. What has been your number one struggle over since you opened? What date did you open, or what month?
We opened June 28th, 2024.
So what is your biggest struggle?
I would say staff, just having qualified, knowledgeable, trained staff that's reliable and they know what they're doing. It's a challenge, especially for me because I have at any well, I currently I have all 7 rooms full of kids, and so I need staff to handle that. I currently have 21 members on my staff roster. Some to varying, like I have one that only comes in for 2 hours a day. It's a very meaningful 2 hours for me because she handles the after school kids. And then some people are here all 8 hours, and some people are specialized in toddlers or infants or, preschool age. So finding the staff that is available at the time that you need them to be with the specialty that you need them to be, for me, definitely.
Yeah. How about you, Erica? What was your number one struggle?
I have to give you props for having all your rooms full. That's amazing. That's big. That's huge. So I'm going to give you props for that. I would say I almost have an opposite struggle. My staff was actually that came along pretty easily. I'm grateful for that, and I have a really nice, strong, dependable staff that I can rely on. I have a good group behind me, and I feel like I really do have a good team in place, and I'm grateful for that. And I'd say that enrollment has been a little bit of a challenge. I didn't really kick off our open house and I wasn't ready until, mid-August when a lot of people already had preschool places in mind for the school year. And I do live in an area where there are a lot of great preschool opportunities. And so, my enrollment happened a little bit slower than I was hoping it would, but the group that I have is a really, really amazing group of kids and families. So I'm grateful that we might be small, but we're mighty this first year.
It's good. So how did those challenges or struggles impact you personally? Erica?
I think that there's just a lot of late nights, and I mean, I'm sure Kat can relate to your head constantly spinning, and the wheels are always in motion of, what can I do to stand out more? How can I market myself better? What opportunities can I provide that aren't already being provided around here for my students? What's going to make my preschool a place that parents want to bring their children?
Kat? So how has it affected you personally?
Yeah, I have no personal life left. I mean, it's 12-hour days every day of the week just to make sure that everybody is okay in their rooms, their classrooms, and the teachers and the students. Bye. Have a good night. Thanks, sweetheart. This is one of my students. But just the amount of effort that it takes to make sure that everybody in operation is doing okay and then filling in for them when they're not okay or they're sick. And then on top of that, I still have all the business aspect of things to run, not just the childcare center. I mean, there's balancing the budget and ordering supplies and making sure that everything that's broken is fixed and making sure that we're in compliance with all the health and safety regulation, like, making sure people have the right kind of training done. I mean, there's so many standards that we have to meet and requirements for the state, and it's all for a good reason, but it takes a lot of time. And so, by time I make sure that everything is running smoothly, the day's over. And then I start with my paperwork, right? So it's the tolls on my personal life and how much time I put into it.
So, I think about child care centers and preschools, and the number one thing as a parent would, we lost Erica, would be, let's pause it for a minute here. Welcome back, Erica.
Thank you.
Technical difficulties.
So sorry.
But no problem. So we talked about your struggles, labor being one of them, employees and stuff like that. And then with Erica, attracting more clientele, more children. But I'd like to know what successes that you had. What are you most proud of?
I think for me that the fact that it exists is the biggest success and the biggest win to me, that this has been an idea in my brain for so long, and to just you know, I won't lie, pretty much every day I walk in and I think like, wow, this is real. Like, you know, we did it. I did it. It's here. This exists. I have amazing students, amazing families. I'm so proud of the work that is done every day. And I think my biggest success is just being a place that I love going to every day, and that I hope that my students and families feel the same way. But I would say that that is the biggest success, is creating a space that I think is warm, inviting, blossoming, and a place where I really feel like good learning happens every day.
How about you, Kat?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to just say ditto, she said it. But you know, it does, I really do take pride in creating the right environment, you know, for my staff, so that my staff can create the right environment for my kids. And we work really hard on that, you know, building the right culture amongst us internally so that we are supportive for each other internally. We pick each other up when we're having bad days. We fill in for each other when we're feeling sick, you know, and there's no animosity about it. It really takes a lot to build a really good team and to have that trust among the team and communication. And so I can say I'm proud of the work that we've done and where we've come from, and where we're at today with the team that I have now. And of course, you know, I'm also very proud of the success of being able to provide for so many families in the community. And it's great every once in a while when you get that parent that comes back and gives you some feedback, like so and so is doing really great now, and they're in this area of school because we've focused on it a little bit more, you know, over the summertime, or we had a really stellar, you know, teacher that helped him out with something or another. So it's the small wins with individuals is just, it's just wonderful to get that feedback too. But just building the team that can make that happen.
So, Eric, if somebody was to come up to you today and say, "Hey, I want to start my own child care center or preschool," what would you tell them?
Tell them that the sooner they start it, the better, because like Kat had touched on, there are a lot of hoops to jump through. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of things that need done before you can be ready and open and ready to go, not just on the business side of it, but the regulations from the state, you know, is something that you really need to make sure that you're well versed in, that you've gone to the classes, you've really looked at the regs, you've really looked at that. You know, I would say that almost, I would say my number one piece of advice is to make sure your space fits within those regulations. So maybe you have a dream space in mind, but you really better fine tooth, you know, look over the regulations and make sure that your space is aligned with those regulations.
Kat, same question. What would you tell somebody if they came up to you and say, "Hey, I want to start my own child care center"?
I would just say do your homework, and you know, you got to be committed, because there's a lot that if you're not in it 100%, it's easier to say, I think there's an easier job somewhere. I was like, I can make a lot more money doing something a lot easier somewhere else.
You know, welcome to entrepreneurship, right? Um, you know, when I think about, and I started going down this route, so number one thing is, if I have a child and they're in child care center, preschool, is the safety of my child. And did you find that, you know, was it cumbersome? I know you both have mentioned regulations, the government. Um, how did that go? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Uh, was it confusing? Kat, I'm gonna start with you because I know you did not have the experience in the you know, child care center before.
Yeah, can you repeat the first half of that question?
So safety of the child being number one. There's a lot of regulations. There's a lot of government hoops that you got to jump through. You both have said that. Did you find it cumbersome, easy, confusing, all of the above?
Did I find making a safe facility cumbersome?
Working with the government and the
Oh,
regulations.
actually, no. But again, I've got 24 years of government experience.
Okay.
So I'm
Good.
very used to the rules and policy and guidance and recommendations and what you have to follow. Like it's all very, especially in this environment, what I've found, it's all very black and white. It's all written down. There's some areas of the code that do need a little bit of explanation, or they're just kind of generic. And that's where I've found that, you know, there's a lot of stuff that can fit underneath that generic code that says like, oh, everything must be safe and hazard free. And then they ding you for something like a bolt sticking out of the toilet without a cap on top of it, you know, but otherwise, the stuff is very specific in the code. And so it felt, actually, it gave me a sense of peace and comfort doing this on my own with no experience, because I could look through the code and I could read every single thing and say, okay, water can't be over 110 degrees. I can test for that. I know how to do that. You know, refrigerators have to be lower than 45 degrees. I can do that easy, you know, like it's, when it lays it out very black and white, you can step by step follow and make sure that you're doing everything accurately. So I thought actually all the health and safety stuff for me was not so cumbersome. It was more of like a peace. It gave me peace of mind that I was doing it right.
How about you, Erica? You had a little more experience in that area, but you're.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the rules and regulations were at least stuff I was familiar for the most part, not always, but at least there were things I was generally familiar with working in this type of setting for a while. You know, I had a general understanding of like ratios and staff requirements and those kinds of things, but like making sure that the space was up to code was really something I never had to do, obviously, on the teacher side of things before. So I won't lie, I was very, very nervous before that inspection. I mean, I was a mess.
I remember.
I was very, very nervous. And I think the one thing that, you know, and I felt like I had gone over the regs. I had looked at the space a million times. My husband had looked at the space a million times. You know, what am I missing? What am I missing? And the one thing that really gave me peace of mind was that there was a former child care director here from here who I had befriended over the summer, and she's been a really great resource for me. And she came in I think it was the Friday before my inspection, and she really walked us through, Doug and I, my husband and I, through each area of the room. And, you know, okay, this looks good. You might want to work this. You might want to do that. So that gave me a huge peace of mind. So I went into our actual inspection feeling, you know, fairly confident that if somebody that had been doing this for a long time felt like we were in a good place, then okay, you know, hopefully we are. And we were.
So, last question. So, looking back at your journey and opening both your centers, is there one mistake that you look at and said, yeah, I shouldn't have done that? Erica, do you have any? No can be an answer.
I know I haven't done everything perfect by no means. I guess the one thing I wish that I could have done better or differently. I mean, there's obviously other things I'm sure of, but you know, I wish I could have not announced my business so late into this, you know, like when people had already had places in mind for the school year. If I could have started earlier or gotten the word of mouth out earlier, you know, I think that maybe that would have helped. I wish I would have done that differently.
Okay. How about you, Kat?
I wish I would have gotten a better handle on my finances a lot earlier, because financially this business is really tough. And you know, if you don't balance the books, then the business may not stay afloat. And so having a better handle on that earlier on, so that I you know, would have less gray hairs over the money aspect of the business, for sure.
Understood. Well, I appreciate both your times. So some of the key takeaways that I got from this, even though you both have similar businesses, they're a little bit different. I mean, Kat has how many? 21 employees with the potential of 80 kids in 7 classrooms and a wide range of children in terms of age. And Erica has, you know, the 1-room classroom, 3 to 5-year-olds. And I believe you have maybe 1 or 2 other people helping you out.
3 altogether.
3 altogether. And, the challenges from a larger, obviously, is the employees and making sure you have the right people, that the children's safety and their education is number one. And then, both of you talked about the financial side where, you need to, in the end, make money and understand, you've got like any other business, sales, which is number of kids, versus labor, which is your number one expense. So there's a big balance there. Again, I appreciate both of you, and I think you're both doing a great job. There are struggles. It's your first year in business. And as Erica mentioned, one of her milestones is just being in business, which is great. So going forward, this is going to be a monthly podcast. Next month, Shane Foster, our senior consultant, is going to have another entrepreneur and focus on a different industry. And as you both know, we offer multiple seminars through our website and through the PA website at the SBDC. And many of them are free. There are minimal charges for some of them, like the first step. But there's a lot of education out there. Again, all of our services at SBDC are free. We're funded through the SBA, the state of Pennsylvania. Gannon University hosts us and helps us out a lot. And we do get contributions from local communities in addition to that. Other than that, that's about it, unless you either have any last minute comments or last second comments. But
Mike, I just really, really, really want to extend a huge thank you to the Gannon SBDC. I could not have done it without all of your help. So I would have still been back in the paperwork phase, staring at it like, that'd be a nice dream one day. You've helped me out with so many different aspects of the business that I call you up with, how about labor? How about wages? How about overtime? And I just pepper you all the time with all the things. And you've been an incredible resource as well as the rest of the SBDC. So thank you to Maggie and the team and everybody who's made this possible today.
Well, we appreciate that.
I would also like to ditto that for all of your help, Mike, and the Gannon SBDC as well. Like Kat said, it would be rattling around in my brain somewhere if I didn't have you guys, and I'm very appreciative for all that you do to bring this to fruition.
All right. Well, thank you both. And, obviously we'll be in contact soon. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Erica.
Bye. Good luck, Kat.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, would you both like to plug? Sorry. Tell us, the name of your business, where you're located, and how to contact you. Kat?
Yeah. So Kat Zawacki, I'm the owner of Little Dragons Learning Center. We are a childcare center located in Warren, Pennsylvania. And you can reach us. We do have a Facebook page under Little Dragons Learning Center, or you can email us at ldlc.warren, WARREN, @gmail.com. So just look for us on Facebook or send me an email.
Erica?
Yes, my name is Erica Dorio. I am the owner and director of In Bloom Preschool, which is located in Sharon, Pennsylvania. We are located in the Hope Cat building. We also have a Facebook page, In Bloom Preschool LLC. We have a website, inbloompreschool.com. I have contact information on my website and on our Facebook page.
Again, thanks both of you for everything for today.